Sheriff Sam Page is the law in Rockingham County, North Carolina.
You're violating the law and you're hurting people in my community, I'm going after you.
His beat seems fairly sedate, at least compared to nearby cities.
We've had a few drive-by shootings. When you go to Greensboro, I mean, it seems like they have a murder every weekend.
But there is a drugs problem here, the synthetic opioid fentanyl.
I think we had, like I said last year, I think it was like 300 overdose calls across the county. And then, of course, I think we had 23 people die.
Sheriff Page says the source of North Carolina's fentanyl problem is 3,000 kilometres away on America's porous southern border.
What kind of crime do you see here that's related to the border?
The methamphetamines, the heroin, the fentanyl, any of the cocaine, they're selling those products. They're working for the cartel. It's not if, they are.
Sheriff Page has been campaigning for hardline immigration reform for 14 years.
2 million unknowns in our country. Nearly 180 countries represented coming to America illegally. And I worry what's going on right now will set us up for the next 9/11.
So prominent, he earned the recognition of Donald Trump.
Fantastic guy, Sheriff Sam Page. Where is the sheriff?
Sheriff Page believes the former president is the man to fix the border.
We're at war with the Mexican drug cartel, and the only way to stop that threat, and they're a terrorist organization as far as I'm concerned, because they're far worse, they're just as bad, if not worse, than ISIS and any organization. But they're regularly killing people in the United States. And this administration, current administration, doesn't seem to be offended by that situation.
Sophia was our second daughter out of 4, competitive, smart, fun-loving, and a foodie. She was a professional businesswoman, college graduate, and unfortunately she's dead.
24-year-old Sophia Walsh died after drinking water at a friend's house that she did not know had been laced with fentanyl. Her mother Barbara tells Sophia's story to highlight the scale of the problem.
In North Carolina, we've lost over 18,000 residents to fentanyl in 10 years. And we were averaging 3,500 a year, 10 per day. That means 10 families like me and Mike lose a child every day.
She is careful not to take sides in the highly charged political debate about fentanyl.
Politics can help or hurt. And right now, I would like to see politics involved to help.
When it comes to fentanyl in this US election campaign, there is little nuance.
Millions of illegal immigrants, traffickers, and drugs coming into our country. Our country has gone to hell.
Ads like this play in almost every commercial break in the swing states. And in towns like Sheriff Page's Reidsville, they hit the mark.
What do you think will happen if Kamala Harris wins?
It's going to be a mess. The border's going, more people's going to come in. It's going to be more killings, more rape, children getting raped, human smuggling, more drugs coming through the border.
The incendiary language might be aimed at voters, but the fear that it stokes lands directly on North Carolina's migrant community, most of whom, of course, have nothing to do with drugs or gangs. They're here to work, and they're essential to the local economy because they're willing to do the kind of low-paid jobs that American citizens aren't.
When you see our community and you see their faces and you see the children and the moms and the families and the workers, and it's just like, I can't imagine people thinking those things.
Ileana Santillan came to America from Mexico as a child. Her family overstayed their visa, so she became an illegal immigrant. She is now a US citizen and works with North Carolina's Latino community, many of whom are terrified of the language being used by Donald Trump and his supporters.
I think the general sentiment is very, very scary, and we hope that that doesn't happen again, but we've seen deportations and raids at this scale in our state happen under a Trump administration.
For 23 years, Indepth has lived in the US as an undocumented migrant.
What work do you do?
Picking strawberries, blueberries, then I moved to a factory where they packed strawberries and asparagus. It's a hard job.
While she's classified illegal, her American-born son, Andre, is not. With no papers and no driver's licence, Edith fears she'll be a target should Trump be re-elected. Every car trip risks an unwanted interaction with police.
It's scary to think that your mother or father, as kids, won't return. It's going to be a big fear within the Latin community.
Across North Carolina, there's a network of refuges called welcome houses, where immigrants like Diego help new migrants from across the world.
With the little English we know and what they've been able to learn, we've helped them adapt to life here.
Dr. Randy Carter is the director of the Welcome Network, which has helped hundreds of migrant families.
How do you feel about the weaponisation of the language around migrants?
It's dehumanizing. It's the idea that these folks are simply an issue to be dealt with, not human beings with lives and stories and loves and desires and fears. I think so often people focus on how they have arrived, but they have no idea from what they have come.
The network talks to locals about the migrants and why they're here.
Just relay their stories, their actual stories, and to say, you know, if you're going to lump all these people into this one story of something terrible, let me tell you a story of something beautiful and try to categorize more people around these beautiful stories.
David lives right across the road from this Raleigh welcome house.
We really enjoy having the families come through these houses, and it just, our neighborhood kids get together with the children coming through, and it's just a joy to see children at an early age getting to know one another from different parts of the world. And I really think that's what this country is about. You know, we're a nation of immigrants.